We're going to take an in-depth look at the Tandem. It's time to get super nitpicky because that's just the way it is when you're going to market. You know, kind of full disclosure is what we're aiming at, so let's get down to it. You know, one of the first things that needs to be mentioned is it is a 79. You know, all the parts are 79 or older. It's all period correct stuff. And so, you know, there are cosmetic flaws, you know, life scars, you know, scratches, road rash, you know, things of that nature that when you get right on the chrome, you're going to see some of that stuff. You know, walking around it, looking at it, most people aren't going to really notice that, but when you dive into it and you get close on it, you're going to see that. You know, on the radiuses of the bars here, you know, even some real fine speckling. You know, a lot of the chrome has been cleaned up. Some of the chrome is better than other portions of the chrome. You know, a little discoloration to the grips. There again, they're really old. Both seat posts are actually exerciser seat posts. So if you come around the back of them and you look at them, you'll see that there are inch increments written on the back side of the post, on both posts. Most people aren't going to notice that, but you know, there again, it's kind of things that I want to point out. All the decals, except for the exception of this pinstripe one here, are all reproduction. And this original came off the card literally in pieces. I used the same process that, you know, I used on the other ones. I've had it work on other decals. The decal, it just had been folded over the years or something, and it literally came off in pieces. I got it pretty darn close. It looks pretty presentable, but you know, there's some light spacing between where the pieces are lined up and joined there. And there is no star on this side. My cat ate it. I had them laid out on the table that you're supposed to let the decals sit out and lift from the card, and I turn around and the star is gone. The other stars are all there. I mean, you can easily add a star down the road, but you know, it's not there. I just have to point that out. I felt that those decals that I got from Bicycle Bones were excellent. They're top notch. I, in the future, will pretty much turn to those over buying some old aged reproduction or old aged original crap any day. I would rather just get some reproductions from him because they work good, they settle well. I did have a little ghosting on these two. I had put these on later. I did not use distilled water, and my city water must have had some type of reaction with the glue or something, because all the rest of them I had done with distilled water at a different time, and they all settled real well, and I had great results with them. So I pretty much pinned that down to, I believe that the water was an issue with these two darts. The one that's on the fender, you can see that ghosting in there a little bit, and the one on the fender is a little worse than the one on the frame. This dot, for whatever reason, wasn't cut out when the bracket was taped off. The fenders were kind of an afterthought thing that, you know, it was last minute going into paint with the fenders, and you know, that happened. The front one also has some faint dents in it. I didn't use any body filler on this project other than there's a very light spread on the chain guard at a seam, but I didn't fill the dent. I worked it out the best I could, you know, with a hammer and bag, and it's tremendously better than it was, but there's still some dent present in the front fender. Pretty heavy weather checking on the wheels, or I mean on the tires. You know, again, these wheels are the 79 wheels. The wheels were completely tore down, polished, reassembled, and you know, the tires were cleaned up, but they have some, you know, pretty heavy cracking in there. You know, they're basically display tires, I mean, in short, that's pretty much it. There's a very slight arch to the front axle. It actually just kind of is an inherent problem when you run speedometer drives. When you offset that much axle to one side, things happen. You know, a little wear on the pedals, you know, end caps, foot-wise, you know. I mean, I gotta, you know, reiterate, mainly 1979 components. You know, but they're clean and they present well. There is a small dent in the back fender, or the back rim hoop, I mean. Beautiful stamp, nice clear stamp in here for the Schwinn tubular S7. Let's see, where is it? Oh, there it is. There it is, right there. Kind of pan side to side so you can see that. The rim isn't, you know, real out of whack over it, but it's got a dent on the top side there that definitely needs to be pointed out. The red line is, you know, it's basically gone on the back hub. The hub was fully rebuilt, taken apart, and cleaned, re-greased, put together. It's an RB2, right down to the RB2 bracket. It's a nice hub. I got a little bit of glue on this piece of the seat here when I was upholstering it. Thought I'd point that out. It's just along the edge of this seat gut here. Look at the undersides of these though. Beautiful. The pans were completely stripped, painted. And because of the way this pan goes together in reverse style of the other ones that I was used to, I didn't realize I should have taped off this little lip when I was reupholstering it, but it's a learning curve. You're hardly going to notice that. And if it really bothers you that much, you can take the seat off, tape the whole thing off, you know, do what you got to do, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. The front seat is a tricycle seat that's been upholstered and put onto a sprung frame. You know, the sprung frame it was a collegiate seat, also served as a seat tag donor, and you know, it turned out real well. Nice shiny underside there too. As you see, to space this out, I stacked some washers in there. It's not the most attractive thing. It's hardly noticeable. You know, there again, it's one of those little things that if you really wanted to take it to the next level, you could, you know, cut a one-piece spacer and put it in there. You know, get the stem, the kickstand, the rear brace, and the front speedometer bracket replated, or plated because they're all painted. You know, but I really cannot take this any further for the amount of work I've already done with it and what I've invested into it and the time I have into it. I've pretty much set my bottom line price as my opening bid, and I'm just going to let it roll from there and hopefully get this out of the garage so I can get on to my next build sometime soon. I hope I didn't really leave anything out on nitpicking it apart. Really kind of trying the best I can. You know, there's a lot of components on something this large to try to cover every little thing, but I'm doing the best I can to really pick it apart for you. Thanks for having a look.